Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel Diet Keto Lifestyle. I'm Michelle, a sports nutritionist, and this is another episode in the series of Low Carb Heroes of India. Today, we have a special guest with us, Suzanne Epen. Suzanne is today going to share with us her story of how diet has played such an important role in her life to manage her sugar levels, to manage her diabetes, how she has been able to get off the medications and get off the whole myth around diabetes, which I would like to say, which is like it is progressive. And in Suzanne's words, today she is going to share with us about how low carb diet not only attainable but also sustainable. So, welcome, Suzanne, and it's really nice to get in touch with you once again.
Thank you, Michelle. It is nice to see you and hear you also. I've gone through your channel. It is very inspiring. And some of my heroes are on that. For example, Headbangers Kitchen.
Right.
Uh, Good morning.
Good morning, Suzanne. How have you been? Hope all is well with you with
Fine.
the COVID.
We are fine so far. No corona fear or anything. We are all doing well, following all the instructions about hand washing, masks, etc. Yeah,
Right,
though
right.
I am supposed to be on reverse quarantine, being above 65. But
Right.
I'm not scared because now I'm controlled. I'm well controlled. My diabetes is controlled. The inflammation levels have been checked yesterday. No inflammation in the body. As long as I was diabetic, I had some kind of inflammation all the time. Diabetes is an inflammatory disease, isn't it? Yes. So that
Right.
way, I feel quite happy. Mm.
Right, Suzanne. So let's begin, Suzanne, by understanding what got you into low carb. I mean, none of us have ever followed low carb in our life, and we all have our journey. We all have tried different diets and tried to manage our health and our issues around health with our diets. So tell us what got you into low carb. What's your journey?
See, I had become diabetic in 2000. So now it is 20 years since I have become a diabetic. By 2018, I was on insulin, that is long lasting insulin. One medicine called diamicron, which is a stimulator for the pancreas to produce more insulin, and metformin. Metformin always made me feel sick and some stomach issues. So I was on sustained release metformin, but that was really that was making things in conformance with whatever the doctors say. Diabetes was becoming chronic and progressive. There was no escape at all, and it was increasing day by day, and I had come to a stage where I needed another injection to keep the sugars in balance. See, this is long lasting. The next step is short acting insulin before meals or after meals, according to the a doctor's prescription of what insulin you are going to take. So I didn't want to do that because the injections are not that easy. You have an insulin pen, you can inject easily. That is all true. It is much easier than it was before, but you have to find new spots to inject. And if you repeat the injection on the same spot, it gets scarred and the medicine doesn't get absorbed. So your sugar will not be controlled. Another thing is, each site, they say, stomach, thigh, and upper arm, each has a different absorbing capacity, a different time for the insulin to come into your body. So you are never sure about what is going to happen with each of the insulins. So I was getting really fed up, and I had some inflammation in the body. I had an eye inflammation, and the eye doctor said, your body has some inflammation. That is why your eye is inflamed. So I made a decision to control my diabetes. Then I looked up in the net, I found the keto, I found the low calorie diet. I tried the low calorie diet for 2 days. I could not sustain it. Keto, 2 days, I could not sustain it. With the family's meal patterns and lifestyle, which I have to keep, as I am the housewife, I am the woman who takes care of the family's food. So I thought, let me reduce the carbs a bit and see. Then I came across all the low carb people on the net, and then inspired by them, I started keto, stopped my medicines because keto would not go with the medicines. Then came back to insulin and started low carb. Within a month, I was off all medication. And that is how I came to low carb.
Excellent, Suzanne. This is really such an inspiring story, because most people around us in our family or in the community are suffering with diabetes, and most people really don't know what exactly to do with it, right? Because they are taking the medications, and like you said, uh, insulin is really difficult. I know this because even my mom was taking insulin for almost 10 years, and if we would go out for dinner or lunch, it was so difficult for her to take insulin, like in a restaurant, like go and take an insulin injection before, so it's like kind of very difficult. And the pain, like you said, like, because your body will like really start paining, and then you have to like find new spots. So of course that is there. And like you said, that it is so important to really try and look outside the term which says chronic and progressive. And I'm sure you did your research, and you have come to this place. So you got off all your medications in 1 month time. And how long has it been since you are low carb? And did you ever feel that you cannot manage a low carb diet and you have to go back to a high carb diet and start your medications once again?
Never. I have never felt that I have to go back to high carb diet because it is so easy to do. The diabetes, I read a lot of books on diabetes and or a lot of the research. Jason Fung has been my inspiration.
Yes,
Because he kept saying that diabetes is glucose overflow in the cells. So fat overflow, glucose overflow. So, and so far we had been given to understand that dietary fat creates fat in the body. Everybody agreed by 2016 that fat is the cause of diabetes and visceral fat is the cause of diabetes. You have to reverse the visceral fat. And so the magnetic resonance center, Newcastle, though I followed him and I corresponded with the doctor, and he told me, his nurse, somebody, nursing assistant contacted me over mail, and she told me, if you can reduce your intake, reduce your calories. They were, first they had a 600 calorie diet with a shake called OptiFast, which I could not get here, and now it is available, very expensive. And that OptiFast ensured that you had all the micronutrients. And if I was advised that if I should reduce my calories to 600 every day, then I can reverse diabetes, possibly, because I have been diabetic very long. They don't know. There are something called the cell memories and all. So what I did was I tried it, but I don't know what to eat. For 600 calories, I can cut the calories. But whether I was getting all the necessary nutrients in that 600, I didn't have OptiFast, and it made me very tired. So I got off that. Then next I tried keto, but I did not sustain keto because in keto diet, there is something, you have to be on the diet for several days to get to ketosis level. And once you are on ketosis, if you try to eat carbs, you will come out of ketosis and you have to get back to ketosis. So this low carb gives you a lot of flexibility because you don't have to cut carbs. If I go for a party and I have to have an ice cream, I feel I have it and my sugar goes up a bit, but once or twice a month is not going to harm you.
Right.
So that is why low carb is the best for me, at least for my habits, my age, my position in life as a person who provides food for the rest of the family. Low carb is very easy. So I have decided, I don't find it difficult at all. And I have thought I will continue this till the end of my life if possible.
That's so nice. And you're right. So, not everybody needs to follow a very strict keto diet, right? Not everybody needs to count their macros, need to download an app, need to buy any expensive products to follow a low carb lifestyle. It is easy. It can be done with a little bit of awareness, with a little bit of education. And to all our viewers out here, please do not change your medication and your diet without consulting a doctor. This is not a medical advice. While Suzanne is sharing that how she has been able to get off all her medications in 1 month, of course, she has done this with close support of her doctor, and she has a lot of doctors in her family as well. So, that is like well monitored, and a change in lifestyle and diet. So, Suzanne, when you say you have been doing low carb and it's easy, you are the one who cooks for the family, and it's like a normal house household lunch and dinner and food habits, etc. So tell us, what does a meal look like for you, when you say low carb, just for our viewers? What do you
So I have
generally eat?
So what I'll tell you, the thing is, we have been told fat should be avoided, and we should eat more whole carbs, like whole grains and things. So now I have come to understand it is the whole grains that cause the fat, and the fruit causes fat. The fructose and things are the fructose contributes mainly to liver fat. All this I came to understand now, and so I have reduced the carbs. See, the same meal that everybody is eating, I am also eating. I reduce the carbs. I increase the protein a bit because as a habit, we eat very little protein. We are afraid of protein. We think it will harm our kidneys. And so if it is fish or meat or eggs, one egg a day, every day, we are scared to have. We are told a maximum 3 eggs a week. And then you should not have too much of meat. Too much of meat, we were always having chicken because it is less fatty, it is lean meat. We don't get turkey here. So lean meat option is only chicken. And so we buy chicken, and we eat chicken without skin, without fat every day. And we avoid the coconut oil, which is plenty because my house is surrounded by coconut palms. We make our own coconut oil. And all these things people are buying, paying a lot of money, but we were not using any of these things. Butter was out, and milk I could not have because I had lactose intolerance. And I had to juggle with things. Then once I had reversed all these prejudices against fat and against protein, things became very easy. I was not eating too much protein. I understood that I should have zero 0.8 grams to 1 gram per kilo of body weight every day. So within that, I should limit my protein. People think that eating an egg will make you have lots of protein. Eating an egg has only 6 grams of protein in it. And in the chicken, the breast has a more protein than the drumstick, and each piece has its own contribution. And if you are having the wings, you get very little protein. So, and there are other sources besides this, and that is the pulses. And if you are having pulses, you have to have grains and pulses together only makes the complete protein spectrum, complete amino acid spectrum. You should have pulses, you should have grains. Just pulses alone or grains alone will not give you that. So keeping all this in mind and losing my fear of fat, I have to replace what I lose through carbohydrates by fat. I reformed the meals that I serve to the others. If it is dosa, I will have a very small dosa. Then I will have the chutney powder. Chutney powder is mainly pulses. It is not high carb. And the chutney powder, I will add a lot of oil to it. You are supposed to mix it with oil, and or I'll have coconut chutney, a little of the sambar, and the non-starchy vegetables. But before all this, I would have a big omelette, single egg, but lots of vegetables added to it, and cheese. So I would have a protein rich, fat rich. I would cook my egg in ghee or butter, and I would cook other foods in coconut oil. Coconut oil is not at all harmful, and I have come to understand that your cholesterol, only 15% of it comes from dietary fat. The rest of it is made by your own body and your liver. So I lost the fear of fat and the fear of eating excess protein, which is not possible for an Indian housewife. She will never eat excess protein because you're not eating a whole chicken or anything. So I was having an egg in the morning. Sometimes I used to have an egg in the evening if I was too busy. And sometimes I used to use the almond flour and coconut flour and make mug breads. If I was too busy, I would. But without that, also you can have your meals. Morning breakfast like this. Lunch meant I would see that there are lots of vegetables on the table and pulses. So what we would make, there will be a dal based curry. Sometimes it was not dal based, but whatever, we would have the side, sabzi, what you call, no, that would always have green moong, whole moong or something in it. So mixed together, we have lots of recipes in Kerala. So I would ensure that that is there, and that would be the main part of my meal. A little bit of rice just to taste the curry. Little bit means 1 tablespoon, sometimes 2 tablespoons. Then I would add ghee to that rice. It is best where the rice tastes very good with ghee. Ghee and sambar or ghee and dal to the rice. Then all these vegetables, there would be other vegetables also which we fry a little bit. And that fried vegetable cooked in coconut oil, all this, less starchy vegetables, no potatoes almost. And then I would eat that as lunch and have a little bit of curds for probiotics. Curds upset my stomach, so I bought what is that? Then enzyme lactase. I add lactase to my milk and keep it overnight, and then use that milk for my food. That way, lunch was managed. Dinner, I would have whatever was there. Sometimes 1 chapati, but I would always reduce the carbs, increase the fat, and add a lot of vegetables. That is easy. Your meal itself, you can design for yourself. Eat whatever is on the table, but in a different proportion. It is not at all difficult. It is easy.
Right. Right, Suzanne. The whole idea also of doing this series of low carb heroes of India is because people really feel that a low carb diet is actually bacon and eggs, or somebody who is like eating a steak all the time. It is very high in protein, and it cannot be done in an Indian setting. Right now, the whole concept that we can do this without changing our food habits. You know, we all have certain food habits. Now, you are in Kerala and you have grown with certain food habits, you know, certain taste buds. And we can actually do a low carb diet, maybe like you said, almost forever, with our food habits, you know, keeping our taste buds in mind, just modifying it a little bit, you know. And that's how we can like actually do this. And why are we saying that do a low carb diet? Yes, I would not say it is very easy, but I would say it's not difficult. We can do it. It's just a lot of planning. It's a little bit of effort. I mean, nobody wants to just leave their rice or not eat burgers and not eat chapatis. But then what's the cost of it? You know, the diabetes, which is like chronic and progressive, from medicines, then we go to insulin, then we have fatty liver, and it just goes on and on and on. So if all of that can be managed, I would not even say reversed. I would say managed. If you can even get off your medications, have a healthy life, and like you said, have ice cream once or twice a month. I think it's just a win-win situation for everybody. So Suzanne, now this brings me to your YouTube channel. Of course, you yourself have been able to manage your diabetes very well, and you have a YouTube channel in Malayalam where you are putting out content about low carb. I have read some of the comments there, and people really feel this warmth and connect with the content that you are putting out, because it is so easy to understand. There are recipes. It's not about going and buying a expensive broccoli and avocado. Things that you can do at home, some exercises, and lot of information as well. You talk about insulin, you talk about how to manage your blood sugar. You did some series during the lockdown around COVID and beyond COVID. So tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel. What got you to start the YouTube channel, and how are you feeling with so many people connecting with you there?
I started the YouTube channel because when I started low carb, I didn't take, I was a little bit afraid because my brother-in-law is a doctor, my sister is a doctor, and my nephew is a doctor. My next door, another nephew is a doctor, lots of doctors in the family. So I was sure that if I got into trouble, I would always get the best help and the best hospitals and doctors. So I did not uh, really ask them before I did it, though I am supposed to ask. Because of all the safety net only, I did it at my own responsibility. And I was really scared. I thought, supposing I get a high sugar level and go unconscious or something, they should know, someone should know what is happening. So I started the channels from a on a day-to-day basis, saying, this is what I did today, this is what happened today. And I told my children, see, I am putting this in a channel. So if you ever get diabetes, you can follow this, because this will be in YouTube forever. And and if I get into trouble, you can look it up and see what I did to get into trouble. But fortunately, I started in August 2018. Till now, I have not got into trouble. And one more thing is, at Onam or Christmas, I don't deny myself very much. I have everything, but in controlled quantities. And I also see that I don't keep on grazing. That is very important. If I keep on eating at every 5 minutes or say every half an hour, breakfast, then lunch, then dinner. Dinner I have quite early. And if you are really hungry, have a cup of milk or something before bed. That is all I do. If I keep on eating, I will not be able to control my diabetes. Recently, what I have shared recently in my channel is the risk of fructose to your body. Why I put it up in the channel is now after I started the channel, lots of people started contacting me over my own phone. They would get it from Facebook, then call me, and even from the Gulf areas also. They don't want to open their YouTube to put a comment. So they will talk to me. And think I have helped quite a few people, knowingly or unknowingly. And some people, when I meet them, they say, we are following your advice. And some people I worked with in outside Kerala, they also tell me, why don't you put it in English? Because that would be too much work, doing 2 channels. And so I have started putting subtitles in English. So that way, I think I have helped quite a number of people, and I keep telling them, this is not medical advice. I'm only sharing my experience. You need not have that same experience, because I have some insulin in my body. And sometimes your pancreas may not be able to restart. And they say that if you have been diabetic for quite long, you can control to some extent, but not fully reverse, fully be off medication. All those conditions are there. Right. So it's better to go with a doctor. And there are quite a lot of lifestyle modification doctors now, right, and the groups of such doctors now, whom you can always consult about it. But without medical advice, starting on something when you are diabetic, difficult. And what I have learned the thing is, this channel has been a learning experience for me, because when people say that this happened to me or this happened to me when I followed low carb, and I want to tell them what is the risk, what are the things you have to avoid. And I also keep learning and keep in touch with what is coming up, fresh new information coming up, and things which I had ignored when I started this. I have become more alert about those things. And may I say, one of the risks that I have, one thing which I have been doing wrong, can I say it also?
Yes, yes,
See,
yes,
what
of
I
course.
have, what I have, I'm in Kerala. We are living in a rather big compound where there are lots of plants and trees, and we have lots of bananas. And we have been taught that fruit is the best food for everybody. It is harmless. You can have fruit. So there will be lots of bananas, lots of guava, lots of the sitafal, chiku, everything in season, mangoes.
Right.
So fruit is, everybody tells me fruit is not that harmful. You can have fruit, and you will see lots of news coming in YouTube or in Google saying mangoes are good for diabetes, or see, that mangoes are good. They have something called mangiferin in it, that which is good, but that is only a small part of the mango. If you distill or extract that and have it, it is good for you. Otherwise, you have lots of vitamin A. But mangoes contain glucose and fructose. So that fructose is what is really harmful. I had heard about that from the beginning, but I thought that was only applicable to table sugar. No, that is not true. It is applicable for fruit also. So when you have fruit, you are intaking lots of things besides the vitamins and things. You have glucose, you have fructose also, and the fructose goes into your body directly to your liver to be metabolized by the liver. The glucose goes into your bloodstream and it is used by your whole body, whereas the fructose is used only by your liver, which will see that your insulin will spike. The body gets the message that you don't need any more glucose. So the fructose will be metabolized into fat and stored in the liver if there is space there, or it will be transported to other visceral organs, your fat tissue, and it will add to the fat. I have the experience because even on low carb, I could not resist fruit, which was always on the table. Everybody else, my children don't touch fruit. They don't like the smell of the banana. They don't eat mangoes, they'll eat a small bit. My husband would eat. We'll share with all the neighbors. And whatever is left, I would also eat one in the morning, one at lunch, and one in the evening. And my fasting sugar was never going down. It was not very high. It was around 130, 135, but I wanted it to be less than 120, preferably around 100. So when I read about fructose again, I saw some videos saying that fructose is the greatest danger. And if you stop fructose, you can, to a great extent, control your blood sugar. And so I stopped the bananas and my sugar came down to 100 or 98, something fasting level. Fasting level, when it goes high, we console ourselves saying that it is the, what is that, growth hormones. It is not because of diabetes. It is some dawn effect or some
Dawn
other
phenomena.
effect. Yeah, some S starting, which I cannot pronounce. Your sugar goes down at night and then as a reaction, it goes up. So you console yourself and try to continue on your own fruit binging diet. But when I came to realize that the fruit was doing more harm than good, I have restricted fruit. I have not totally eliminated fruit, which is impossible living in this house. I eat a little bit of fruit, and that too on an empty stomach. That also, when I am on an empty stomach, that means my body does not have enough sugar. So the fructose will come back if I have gone for, I eat a fruit and then do the morning walk. So it will be burnt. That way I have a lot of adjustments also I'm doing. I'm doing a walk every day. I'm trying to keep calm by mindful living, mindful eating. So it is not just your diet, your lifestyle also has to be adapted a little bit. And that adaptation is good for you, good for your mental and physical health.
I totally agree with you, Susan, and thanks for sharing this, because fruits is some doctors in the low carb community say that fructose is alcohol without the buzz, and there is almost
Yes.
enough science to justify that. And everyone says, okay, fruits are healthy. Just because they are grown on trees, they are like amazing. A diabetes person can eat a mango, and homegrown fruits are the best because we've been eating that all throughout, right? So of course there are all these things, and that's the reason I say that people like you are creating such a big difference in the community, because your content is local, your experience is something that people can connect with. Everyone wants to have fruits at some point. Everyone wants to have a banana or a piece of mango. uh, I'm a Mangalorean, so I know when I go back to my native place, there is always these mangoes, which of course we happily had when we were young, but now it really doesn't help us much. So it is really nice that you brought up this topic, and you have addressed almost all these questions on your YouTube channel in a content in Malayalam. And then there are other videos that you have put up there, like breakfast and the local ingredients that can be used, because everybody cannot afford almond flour and maybe coconut flour and a keto atta, and it is not necessary as well. So you have also shown how we can use local ingredients that are available locally to incorporate a low carb diet in our life. And of course, people have reached out to you. You are educating yourself, I think, every day, and always putting out this new content, and a lot of this information out there. So it's something really great that you are doing, Suzanne. So tell us what's your plan now with the channel, or and how are you planning to reach out and help out more people?
I have what I intend to do now is to make more recipes on local ingredient, low carb foods. See, now Christmas is coming, and
Right.
we have to have some sweets. And the thing is, I have found several misconceptions among people about how to control diabetes. They always identify with keto. Keto means your food is restricted to a great extent, and you can be. Keto is the best that I can say. It is the best and the easiest way to uh, reduce your fat. If you are over obesity, it is best for obesity, it is best for diabetes. And if you can manage keto, that is the best as far as I understand it. But not all people can stay on keto, and for some people it may cause a high level of cholesterol for only a few people who are hypersensitive to fats. That is very few people. One of the people who got in touch with me, he had that problem, and he went to Bombay to do some checking and all. So that is a very rare case. So the generally the triglycerides will go down the moment you reduce your carbohydrates, because triglycerides are the free fats floating from the liver to various other areas to be deposited there. Generally, if you eat a fruit and have your triglyceride measured within a short period, you will find high triglycerides. That is why we have to fast before doing the lipid profile. So that is one thing. And what I plan to do now is to make a lot of recipes which local people can do, they can use. So I have come across people like who are doing daily work, daily laborers, and I am telling them, you reduce your carb, you reduce your rice. They say we cannot survive without rice. I tell them, you increase your pulses. The ration which the government gives includes all these pulses and legumes.
Legumes.
And yeah, they say no, that gives gas. Gas, that is what. See, that is another idea that they have because of a wrong kind of cooking of the pulses. You have to soak it overnight and throw out the water to remove the phytic acid in it. Otherwise, you will get gas. So soak it overnight and then throw out the water and then cook it and have it with your meals. Reduce your carbohydrates to that extent. If you can, if you have to have lots of rice, have it, but less this pulses and legumes. And when you do that itself, your sugar is controlled to a great extent. And instead of that, they are progressing to higher and higher levels. They are not able to check their blood sugars. They are falling unconscious and ultimately having amputations. I've come across that. And another problem is many kinds of diabetes is there. Some of them have a diabetes called protein deficient diabetes. It is whether it is protein absorption problem or deficiency of protein in their diet, I do not know. But one thing is sure, protein is deficient in their diet because fish, chicken are all very expensive. They'll buy the fish for 50 rupees a day, then cook it as a curry and share the curry among everyone. The children and the husband will get the bigger piece. The wife may get a head piece or may not get a head piece. And that way, they are deficient in protein. They will not eat the pulses and they fill up on the rice. So these things are to be addressed not by me, but by the government. They are giving the pulses, but they have to, through the network of social workers, they have to instruct them, enable them how to have their diet modified. I will cover this to some extent, but I think Michelle can do it better because she is a nutritionist. And those things are also to be addressed. I plan to do recipes and meal plans. And whatever I come across as new things which I am doing wrong and which I have to address, that also I'll be explaining in my videos and try to put subtitles or be a silent self-explanatory video as far as possible, because recipes don't need anything. You just put how the ingredient in the screen itself, and then you don't have to do a subtitle. So whatever way, I plan to do that. And when people have lots of other problems, they'll contact me. Then I come out with that, whatever problem is there, what solutions I have in hand, provided they consult their doctors before doing that. But and the one last thing I want to say is the diabetics are a vulnerable lot. We are always so unhappy about our position because we see everybody is eating ice cream, they are binging on biryani, and we are not able to eat all that in the same quantity. So the quantity, if you compromise on quantity, you can eat all that to some extent occasionally. And another thing is, because of this vulnerability, everybody wants their diabetes, they wants to get rid of the diabetes in one shot. So lots of people are exploiting the diabetics, saying that Ottamuli, like one medicine, you have this in the morning for 5 days and your diabetes will be gone. Then there is some leaf, you have to tie it to the soles of your feet and walk around for 1 week and your diabetes is gone forever. Is a leaf at the sole of your feet going to melt the fat around your liver and around your pancreas and around your organs and in between your skin cells? This leaf below your foot is not going to do that. Is some leaf boiled and drunk on an empty stomach going to get rid of your diabetes? No, but it may reduce your blood glucose just like the medicines you have. Some of the leaves have medicinal properties. You can say they have certain chemical content that will prevent absorption of glucose from your intestine. So those some enzymes are inhibited by those leaves or herbs. But that is just like taking your medicines. But with the leaf, you are taking in that medicinal item, plus a lot of other things in the leaf which you do not know what it is. So you are taking in a lot of harmful things, a lot of good things, and you are controlling your diabetes when you have the same thing as a medicine. As a medicine, where only this thing is there. There isn't any of the other components of a leaf. Every plant has self-defense mechanism and lots of things which are there to discourage animals from eating them. and those things are not good for the animals. So when you eat a leaf, you have a well-known green leafy vegetables which you can eat. So we have been safely eating. But when somebody tries to sell you some idea just to promote their channel, don't listen to them and eat lots of things which have not been tested anywhere, except the
Scientifically.
anecdotal information by a few people. And read the comments. The comments, lots of people will be abusing those people. So don't try. Many people contact me asking, what do you say about this herb? What do you say about this leaf? What do you say about tying that leaf under your feet? In fact, I tied it for 2 days and tried to hobble around just to answer that question. And I got fed up. But one thing is there, it has some kind of poisonous secretion, which if you have some corn or something, it will soften that corn. It will soften the bottom of your foot with the, it is supposed to make you blind if it goes into your eye. So such things are they are trying to make money out of you. That is why I said diabetics are a vulnerable lot. So don't go to all these channels. They'll say diabetes cure, diabetes cure. Don't go to anything that is not researched by the medical field. And this low carb, keto, everything has been researched by Western doctors, and now some of the doctors here also are adopting that. Even the reduction of carbs has been approved by the American Diabetic Association
and the
and
Canada.
Canada, and IMA has also adopted the food plate where the carbs are less and vegetables are more. Only thing is they don't encourage fat, but fat is harmless as far as I know. My 2 years I've been on this, and I have I'm getting my reports just for the sake of confidently saying I'm better. And my diabetes is definitely lower than what it was with medications. I have never been able to be under 7. Now I'm always under 7, even when I'm not controlling very strictly as I am doing now. What does that say? That says that the fat inside has been depleted to some extent at least, so that my pancreas and liver are functioning better. See, this 2 years has improved my situation, reversed the condition to a great extent. But if I eat a lot of carbs, it will go up, but never to 300s or anything, maybe 240. Beyond that, I don't eat a lot of heap of rice or anything ever. I eat restricted quantities only. So that is the advantage of going on a diet, to melt the visceral fat. That is very important, and as far as I am concerned, it is very effective also.
Right, Suzanne. These are some excellent points that you covered here. One is, I should really say that your passion and your dedication towards spreading awareness of low carb, like you're really a hero, because you are really addressing the pain points that a normal person feels. I mean, really, I see out there wherever I go, people are really having anything and everything that somebody tells them have this and it will control your diabetes. So you've really touched upon some important subjects. I also had on my channel Dr. Rupal Dalal, and she works with the slum community uh, for uh, 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 for nutrition for the first 1,000 days, right? And that's where she said that they cannot afford keto, right? And that's where she brought up the topic of millets, the topic of pulses, the topic of legumes. And that's where she said that, mostly people are facing issues because they'll either sprout it, have it raw, or make a salad or something like that, right? So the right way of cooking it, cook it very well, the anti-nutrients in it. So a lot of these things, even she covered, just the way like you covered, like how do people in slums, or how do people uh, who are living on the ration that the government is providing them, right? How do they manage their diabetes? Now, just because they are below poverty line doesn't mean that they are not going to get diabetes. I mean, you eat carbohydrates, you have diabetes, irrespective of which income group you fall into, right? So, how do those people manage it? And this is like some excellent points that you covered, and such great content also that you're covering on your YouTube channel. So, for all our viewers, the link to Suzanne's YouTube channel is given in the description box below. Do visit her channel. You can get in touch with her if you need help around in your community. Her content is in Malayalam, but now she's also doing subtitles in English. So we will get to access a lot of her content as well. And Suzanne, thank you for taking out the time. Towards the end, what's your message? You have been on Low Carb for 2 years. You have also been diabetic for 20 years. Now it's been 20 years since you've been detected. You've had your share of struggles with medication, insulin, and you're hale and hearty now. So, what's your message to our viewers today?
See, my message is this. Diabetes is a disease that has to be taken seriously. Whether it is chronic and progressive or a controllable disease which does not become progressive, which can be controlled to almost the normal level like other people, your blood sugar, and keep everything under control, is in your own hands, in your choices, in the choices you make every day about what to eat, how to eat, when to eat. That is very, very important. Even the way you eat is important, because there is something called the food order, which in Bombay is very popular. So one doctor in the government department has been going around talking about eating vegetables and protein first and then the carbs, which will control the spikes of both insulin and blood sugar. That doesn't mean you have to eat lots of carbs, but for the first thing, it will control your appetite also. So what you do with your eating habits is one thing, and what you do with exercise. Without exercise, it is not very easy to control, because as you age, you lose your muscle mass and the storage space for the glucose you eat. If you eat the same amount also, your sugar will go up. So both keep your muscles and your diet in your mind, when you in your lifestyle, and you keep if you want to control diabetes, if you don't want to progress to multiple insulin injections, going to a party, then injecting, finding the restroom, injecting yourself and all, or going to dialysis level and not being able to drink water even, all these are the threats that hang before us. And because I have seen people like that, I wanted to control, I've controlled. At 60, I started it in 2018, which means 2 years ago, when I was 63. So if an old woman like me can do it, who has been more than 10 years on insulin, can do it, everybody can do it with the help of their doctors. With the help of their doctors, they will guide you along the way. So it is in your hands, the choice of whether diabetes is a chronic and progressive disease or is a disease which can be reversed. That means you can go back to some extent. It doesn't mean you're cured, a reverse. So this is your choice. That is my message for everybody. Listen to people who have reversed, and try to consult your doctor about these, and keep your willpower up. That is also important.
Thank you, Suzanne. That's such a touching message. You are absolutely young. You are a hero of India. Spreading this message, creating awareness. You have helped so many people. And yes, age is just a number, and you are a great example. Thank you for taking out the time today. All the best to you. All the best to your YouTube channel. And once again, thank you so much for being a low carb hero of India, for spreading the awareness in the local community. And we wish you all the best to your channel and to you. Be healthy, and Merry Christmas in advance.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you
Merry
also,
Christmas.
Vishal. Nice meeting you.
Nice talking to you, Suzanne. All our viewers, do like and share this video with your friends in the comments below. Let us know your feedback. Subscribe to our channel, subscribe to Suzanne's channel, get in touch with her. You can also connect with me on Twitter. You can connect with Suzanne on Facebook. The links to everything is given in the description box below. So thank you, Suzanne, and hope to connect with you soon once again.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, Suzanne. Bye-bye.
Bye.